Hi everyone, Namaste. This is Anjali Kochhar. Welcome back to my channel, Tookwings by Anjali Kochhar. So today on our podcast, we had with us another LinkedIn personal branding strategist. Her name is Thahaseen, and in this conversation particularly, we spoke about not just inbound strategy but outbound lead generation strategy that works amazingly on LinkedIn. And to add to that, as a bonus, she has also shared her DM framework that works the best for her clients. And I tell you, she has amazing clients, some big names she spoke about, right? So, in this conversation, we are going to break down the entire strategy that will help you, make your LinkedIn to take next heights. So you are definitely going to learn so much from this conversation because I honestly learned a lot. So yeah, enjoy the conversation. Hi Tahaseen, welcome to Kahaniya by Tookwings. How are you?
Hey Anjali, great to be here finally. So I'm good, I'm good. How about you?
Amazing. So excited to get into the conversation of, LinkedIn personal branding and lead generation, more to be specific, right? But at Kahaniya, we have this tradition that before we get into the details, we love to know stories of our guest. I mean, what's your kahani like? What's your story like? We would love to hear from you. I mean, any part of your story if you would like to share with all of us.
Okay, so my story. Okay, sure. So my name is Thahaseen. Currently, what I do is I build brands on LinkedIn for founders. So basically, founders who want to establish and position themselves as thought leader and the experts in their space on LinkedIn and also scale their business on it. So I've worked with clients from industries like SaaS industry, education industry, business consulting, medtech industry, wealth management, and counting. Plus, I also work with Yasmin Alik for his community.
Hmm.
So currently, I would say my life pretty much revolves around LinkedIn. So just writing, researching, doing client work, looking ways to expand, and so on. So this was what's been happening right now. But previously, so my background is IT. So I grew up in Singapore. All my education was done there. I took IT as my field. End up, it was around the second week of my journey of studying IT that I wanted to drop out
Hmm.
because the second week itself, I found that okay, I can't code, and I have to continue that for the next 4 years in order to finish my education.
Hmm.
So it was challenging. I couldn't drop out because I have to go back to my previous school to do another year. So that's a challenge there. So I was like, okay, never mind. I'm just going to continue. Just going to continue doing my studies as usual. And then while I was doing my studies, what I did was I started to look out, I started to venture out to, so that was like the let's find my passion moment, right?
Hmm.
So I was going out, I was looking into a lot of things, I was DMing a lot of people, seeing if I can work with them for free. So
Hmm.
that's how I first found out my interest in events management. So I worked with this great companies, a startup company, great people. They had me in, so I worked with them for free for 2 years. And then they had a sister company, which is also a marketing agency. So I was in events management industry, and then I went into marketing industry because of them. And
Hmm.
then afterwards, I was also looking around. Then I went into food and beverage industry. I was serving Pizza Hut. I was serving at Pizza Hut and so on. And then during that journey, I also realized that okay, I'm good at speaking. I can communicate well. So I wanted to focus more on public speaking. And then fast forward, I joined an edtech company as a public speaking and a creative, so not creative, public speaking and a creative writing expert.
Hmm.
So once that's done, that's when I accidentally discovered digital writing, which led me to LinkedIn right now. So that point, what happened was I was just like I discovered digital writing, and then I started writing on Medium,
Hmm.
and then I started writing on Twitter, and then
Hmm.
stopped there. And then finally, I started writing on LinkedIn and found that, okay, so this there's something special on LinkedIn that I want to continue and like just double down on this.
Hmm.
And that's when it started. And here we are for about like a year and a month plus. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing journey. So, what's that special thing that you found about LinkedIn?
Okay. Very first thing was actually the organic reach.
Hmm.
That caught me. And the second thing is I realized that our profiles are being indexed by Google. So that means if someone were to search for your name,
Hmm.
one of the links that would appear at the top is our LinkedIn profiles. I mean, why should we miss that opportunity, right? So I
Yeah.
decided to double down on that. And then the first few creators I came across, I learned from them. I invested my time with them and then slowly started learning. So yeah. Plus another reason was also LinkedIn is like the only B2B social media platform. It's like a networking platform. People are there for a reason. Plus over 75% of them are decision makers. So there is no doubt that we can start a business. Like, that's like the best option for anyone who want to start their business or scale their business along the way, which is what I'm helping my clients do as well.
Right. So when you started posting on LinkedIn, let's say, so you must be building on your personal brand first, right? So how was that journey like?
Okay, great question. So I didn't get clients immediately, of course. So it was something like last year, May, when I started my journey. So for 6 months, I just went down on any way that I can to learn, to master my writing,
Mm,
to do more, to learn about commenting and DMs and everything. So I built up my foundation, my brand for the first 6 months first.
mm,
And then once that's done, that's when I started looking out for clients on LinkedIn and also outside of LinkedIn.
mm,
Because you see, I had to establish the foundation first. I had to, optimize for the best so that people can come across me and people can see me as someone who knows what she's doing and someone who can be perceived as an expert, right?
mm.
So that foundation was very important to me. So I just went on that first. So that's how I planned it, let's say.
Right. So in that journey, did you take up any courses or was it just by doing it by yourself and learning?
I'm glad you asked the question because I'm a geek for courses. So
Mm,
first things first, I went out searching for free courses,
mm,
and so there were few that I learned, and there were also lots of free school communities. So if anyone watching this session, I mean watching this podcast, if you're starting out, there are so many school SKOOL communities
mm,
who are which are free, definitely, which are free that you can join, and there's like so many resources that you can learn. So there's no reason for you to not start in the first place.
mm,
So that was one that so was the free communities, and then there was the courses, plus also the free content shared by the influencers in my niche who are doing better and who are sharing things that which I learned along the way. So there are many ways. So at the first, it's all I took out all the free resources to learn first.
got it. So let's say let's talk about your first client for that matter. How did you get your first client and what was the moment like? And then going forward, how did that journey pan out, getting more clients and yes.
Yeah. So um my first client was an interesting journey. So my first client wasn't from LinkedIn at all.
Okay.
So remember I mentioned the 6 months period where I built up my foundation. So after that, I went out looking in Google, which is a great hack that I think lots of people are missing out. So what I did was I went to Google and then I searched for. So let's say at that time I wanted to work with SaaS founders because I'm naturally just somehow inclined to startups and SaaS industry. So I just looked for SaaS founders communities.
Mm,
And then there were many. There were free communities, there were paid communities. So I picked one, right? And then it was this Slack group where there are like so many like many founders and executives. So what I did is I introduced myself, and then right after that, a few days, someone reached out to me in my Slack DMs saying that they want to build their brand, they want to position themselves as the expert. So he was a director of marketing at a SaaS company, which does over 200 millions, which is valued over 200 millions. Yeah. So we worked on his brand. He was a very good person, I would say, very knowledgeable, um, always into sharing some expertise, always into sharing things that he want to inspire others to. So his industry more, so he wanted to establish himself as the B2B marketing thought leader. So we worked accordingly for that.
You worked on their LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, worked on the LinkedIn. So it's posting, also network building, commenting, engaging, the entire profile optimization. So everything from scratch. No, not from scratch. Okay, so he already has his profile, but I revamped it for the better.
I see a lot of people posting on LinkedIn about getting clients through inbound strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Posting content on LinkedIn which is relevant for their target audience, and then getting clients through that. But then there is another strategy that you can get clients through outbound, maybe through DMs, right? So which kind of strategy do you prefer personally? Inbound, outbound, a mix of both, or what is your go-to strategy like?
I mean, inbound is amazing. I would say inbound is always amazing. So, I have my opinions varies depends on the person I'm speaking to. So I'll speak for both sides. So let's say for someone who's starting out,
Hmm.
you shouldn't be waiting for inbound because inbound will take time. That means 3 months, 6 months. I got my first inbound leads coming in after 6 months. So
Hmm.
it is a journey. So for someone who's starting out, I will tell them go outbound first,
Hmm.
build up the relationship first. Whereas if you are an established person in your field or in your expertise, then you'll be getting a flow of inbound already. So in that case, you wouldn't have to do any outbound for that,
Hmm.
right? So if you ask me personally what I would prefer, inbound or outbound, I mean inbound is fun because the leads are coming in, but before that there's like huge work being done up there for me to get inbound. But I will still prefer outbound in certain cases because outbound reach and the outbound messages that I send has led me to coach Fortune 500 companies like Apple, IBM, Microsoft, Johnson and Johnson, and many other agency startups
Hmm.
because of outbound. And if I were to wait for, okay, let's wait until they reach out to me, and then that's like I'm waiting for them to reach out to me. That's considered inbound, right? So how long am I going to wait for? Am I going to wait for a year or two? When I already have the chance to reach out to them, why am I going to wait? So personally, for me, is I would say inbound because, oh, sorry, outbound. Because if you want to work with a certain client, if you want to work with a certain dream client, then outbound works best. And not just for me, but I've seen many people out there get their dream client because they reached out to them via email or because they reached out to them via DMs, sharing them, I mean, talking about the problem that they have and how they can come in and solve, and then sharing what exactly they will do to solve all those problems. So
Right.
right now in my journey, I would say it's outbound.
Right, got it. So, when it comes to reaching out to clients on their DM, let's say, right?
Hmm.
So, is there a right way to, create that text message for a specific client, or you can use a pre-built format for each of them, or how does that work out? Because I see a lot of people using a certain format of DM and then using it across clients and then getting no results out of it. So how do you plan that? What is your strategy like for the exact message you have to send out to any client you're aiming for?
Okay. So before I share that, I want to share a statistics where response rate for cold DMs only average around 8%.
Hmm.
And where does that 8% comes from is basically, okay, if we look at general as
Hmm.
a whole, only less than 5% of people are ready to buy from you.
Hmm.
Whereas the 95% are still kind of warm or slash the cold stage.
Hmm.
So what I see is so based on what you shared, what I see is also that people do automated DMs or automated
Right.
emails, hoping that something will work or hoping that someone will finally say yes to them and
Hmm.
then go for it.
Hmm.
Right? But that's not a good approach.
Hmm.
And to date, whoever I've coached and also built brands, be it any big brands, I don't even think they were like the hot lead or they wanted to do this right now. So if
Hmm.
I were to send my clients who are from big names, if I were to send them cold DM, they're gonna like not even respond to me
Hmm.
because I send them like a warm connection request, like a blank request. I send blank connection requests, and then I deeply personalize what I send them.
Hmm.
So here's what worked for me. Okay, I can share. Here's what worked for me. So when I was reaching out to this person from um IBM, actually pretty much anyone. So when I was reaching out to them to work on their LinkedIn profiles, this is what I do. I will say, hey, name. So let's say, hey, Jamie, for example. So I'll say, hey, Jamie. Then I will tell them something that brought me to your profile. So for example, I'll say something like, hey, Jamie, your headline caught me to your profile.
Hmm.
Example. Then the next line, so I will send a series of messages. I won't send everything in one paragraph.
Right.
Right. So when we are speaking with someone, we want to speak as if we're speaking to a human. So let's say you're meeting this person in real life in a networking event. Will you go and directly pitch to them? Of course not, right?
Right.
You're going to be seeing one kind. Like, why are you just pitching right to me? So
Hmm.
first, it's always a relationship building. Hi, how are you? What do you work? Where are you? That's in real life. But right now in LinkedIn, you already know what they're working on because
Hmm.
you got the headline, you got the experience section and everything. So you already
Hmm.
have that. Now let's utilize that. So coming
Hmm.
back to my DM strategy, right? So I'll say, hey Jamie, your headline caught me with your profile, for example. Then the next line, I will find another thing that also caught. So this part I'm making it about them. So the next part will be like, for example, I like how you've positioned your business in the banner. So first I speak about the headline, and then next I speak about the banner. Or for
Hmm.
yourself, let's say if maybe for the audience who are watching, if let's say the content that caught your attention or the comment that they made caught your attention, share that. I mean, they will want to know why you're messaging them in the first place.
Hmm.
They want to know, they want to hear more about themselves, right? As humans, that's how we're wired. And then the next one, I'm gonna say something like, I'm gonna start a question in something which I can help, but I'm not directly telling them.
Hmm.
So this person was doing lots of polls, and I saw that she's not been getting much responses in polls. Then I asked her, okay, so I was reading your recent posts, but saw you do lots of polls, and just went to comment my thoughts. So I'm not pitching. I'm just saying what I observed. So that's done. The next one, I expand on it. Say something like, plus I know polls are a great way to see what our audience think. Right. So once I've shared my observation, next, I'm going to post them a question on what I do again. So this
Hmm.
directly asking me. So since I build brands on LinkedIn, I'm going to ask them, so what brought you to LinkedIn in the first place? Very
Hmm.
casual. And remember, all of this is like a series of messages sent in one shot.
Right.
Okay. So once that's done, now I'm going to ping back with another personal question.
Hmm.
So there's like certain layers.
Hmm.
So the personal question is like, let's say this person is from the USA or the UK. So I will say something like something real, something honest, which is that I've always wanted to visit the UK, especially London. Then I'll ask something like, so when is usually the best time to visit? Of course,
Hmm.
they would answer because
Absolutely.
they're there.
Yeah.
So, and recently I came across another research where it takes a lot of brain work for someone to respond to your DMs. So
Hmm.
instead of making it harder for them, let's
Hmm.
make it easier. Let's give them like a yes or no question, maybe this or that question. So
Hmm.
at the final message, I post them a question with when is the best time to visit UK? They know their answer at the top of their mind. They can reply to me immediately.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
goal here is to not get them to book on a call, or get their money, but to get them to reply. That's the
Right.
first thing. So to basically summarize the lines that I send is, I will say, so the first line is greeting them, and then just sharing what caught me to their profile.
Hmm.
And then next one would be an observation of what they've been doing, and then commenting on that. Plus, the next one is something they have been doing, which I know in my mind I can help, but I'm not telling them.
Hmm.
And then next one is I'm directly asking them a question, um, based on my offer, which is LinkedIn. And then the
Hmm.
next one, I give them a personal question. So it's like greeting, and there's like professional questions, and there's like personal questions, and then something. So it's a mixture.
So, isn't
Yeah.
it a bit time taking to, interact with every possible or prospectus client, on LinkedIn, or how does that work in sense of time it takes?
To be very frank, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes lots of time. But because it took time, that's when you will get the result that you want.
Hmm.
If you're not going to take time, then don't complain. you
Mm-hmm.
know that's the idea that I go by. So if you want something, then you have to work for it, you have to spend time. And if specifically, if you're going to ask me about the DMs part, when you're starting out for the first time, when you're doing all these things for the first time, then it's going to take some time. But it's like a muscle memory. It's going to be very easy. It's going to be like at the blink of an eye, that you can just write out messages. And yeah, just like anything, just like any habits that we build, it's always hard at the first, but as we go on, as we keep on doing it, it's gonna get easier. And then of course, when time goes by, you're gonna get easy it's gonna get easier for you to close more clients.
Right. And I see that there is this, rising uh trend, I would say, or rising interest of everyone to get on LinkedIn and, start their own personal brand, and then, become a expert of personal branding in that sense also. Right. So how do you stand out in this, crowd
Okay.
space right now?
Okay, how do we stand out? That's an easy yet a tough question to answer. And like what you mentioned, I've been seeing lots of new people coming in, and they're doing very good. They're sharing great content and everything. So basic at the end of the day, someone can copy someone's content, someone's framework, someone's idea, or even someone's name. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, what you can't copy is your background, your story.
Hmm.
And that's very true. So what differentiates you is your story. And this is like the base, the entire baseline of why you're even doing this in the first place. So let's say, okay, for myself, let's say, for example, my story is based on values. So values like being grateful, and
Hmm.
also giving away some of your share to people and causes who need the most. Like for me, I give away 10% of what I charge my clients. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, what I charge my clients to people who need the most. So I go by value, I go by gratitude, I go by ethical, doing
Hmm.
things the ethical way, be it
Hmm.
my business or other founders' business or brands. So that's literally highlighted in my banner, like with ethical. I mentioned it. So for me, I go by value based. So that means if someone also has the similar value as me, I'm going to attract them. And it has never been easier. So what you are, you will attract that kind of person, right? So if
Right.
you're like a very jovial person, of course you will attract other jovial person.
Hmm.
Same way goes to, you will attract jovial clients as well. Whereas I mean, it works like in every way possible. So if you are like a more serious person, more fast, direct person, you would attract those kind of profile as well. So
Hmm.
if you are a values driven person, and when you share all of these in your content, and when you keep on repeating in different variations, automatically in autopilot or naturally, you're going to attract people who are in your tribe. So a very
Right.
good example I would say is Yasmin Malik. He's like the top LinkedIn creator, and he's been doing this very well. So his comments always go over 1,000.
Hmm.
Never like, eh, not say never, but it's always up above 1,000 because of the community that he has built, because of the things that he shares, the values that he believes in, everything. And then when it was time for him to launch the community, his link up community, he got the right people, the people who are serious, the people who are who treats everyone equal, you know. So I mean, I work there, right? So I can see everyone, and I see um how they are as a person, and all of them have similar values to what Jasmine has.
Hmm.
So that's why they are there.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying is, look into your story, look into your background, and just I mean, the best way is to go chat GPT just highlight your entire experience, your personal, your professional experience, your studies, schools, families, countries that you travel to, and your background, how many industries you've worked with, and literally everything. Just write out an entire essay, and then ask ChatGPT to analyze what's the pattern that you see me doing over and over. And what do you think is the key story that you can derive from my entire life story? And it will give you more than what I've even asked for. And from there, so this works for if you're stuck in not knowing which story to base yourself on, or how you want people to see you as. So yeah.
Right. So one part of hosting content is, of course, your story, and which is very important, right? I completely agree on that. As you mentioned, that you attract what who you are, right? So that is very important. But again, when we are posting content on LinkedIn, there are a lot of different formats of content. There are different hooks that people follow, right? So how do you strategize your weekly content, right? So let's say, how do you make sure that apart from telling just your story, you are also adding some sort of value to your maybe your readers or your target audience, and you're also making sure that you're certainly getting leads also through your content, right? So is there a strategy for that when it comes to creating content on LinkedIn? And also, like, the algorithm keeps on changing every other day. So how do you, manage to keep cracking that with your content?
To be honest, I don't even crack. I, I I don't think I'm the best person to answer this because I literally don't care about the algorithm at all. Like you just go ahead and change whatever you want, LinkedIn, because I base so what I base on is the content that I share. Then the second one is DMs. So I'm very active in my DMs. I make the effort to constantly message people, message my prospects, message my clients, my peers, and influencers from my industry, and also outside of my industry to just build connections, to build my network, right? So yeah, like I said, I don't base my work on algorithm. I don't even I've stopped that very long time ago.
Right.
And next one, you asked about format. So mostly I share text-based format. So actually, you can try all the formats you want, but so recently we had video feed, right? So
Yeah.
and of course you can try that. And previously it was carousel, and everyone was trying carousel. Yeah, sure, please go ahead. Then there was images and everything. But I would say right now, do what works for you. So for me, what's working for me is text-based posts and then image posts.
Hmm.
But nevertheless, my text-based posts always perform higher than my image posts for some reason. But not always, but there's always like a um higher number that I see.
Right.
Okay,
So
so
basically, you need to check for yourself what is working the best for you.
yeah, yes. And I would always say, actually, I would say like try text-based, try carousel, try image. It's good to have all of those three. But if you want to double down on something, then I'll say double down on text-based and image-based. So image-based, what I mean by that is it could be like a Twitter quote that you're sharing. It could be an infographic that you're explaining as an educational kind of post, or it could be like a social proof post that maybe you are sharing like a screenshot, something that your client said. So another thing when you're sharing image posts is now you have two hooks. One, the first hook is in your text. And somehow if the reader misses out there, they're still gonna come back to your image. So that's another hook. So you
Right.
have so in terms of that, you have two chances of grabbing someone's attention for image posts. Yeah, that's for that. And the next one, you asked me about my content strategy, like what I
Hmm.
post, right? So you see, I see LinkedIn as a long-term game, not 6 months, but I'm seeing it as 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and even up to 10 years. So I made sure this is sustainable for me. And what's sustainable for me may be something different for you. Maybe 5 days, posting 5 days a week is sustainable for you. Let's say. For me, sustainable route is 3 days, 3 posts per week. So I post Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Very simple. So Monday I post top of funnel content. So this is more about myself and more about the business life. So example, okay, there are many. Hiring, wins, fails, your opinions, trending topics, personal career, mass appeal topics, controversial takes, and business milestone. So this top of funnel content is focused on easy engagement for people to recognize you, to come across you. So that way you will get, your impression will be high, definitely, because these
Hmm.
are all relatable topics that we're speaking
Right.
about. And the goal with this top of funnel content, the Monday post that I'm doing is to grow my audience. Settle, that's done. Next one is Wednesday. Now, this is middle of funnel content, so more about my category. So this part is where I'm educating my readers, my audience, on what I'm doing and what they can learn from.
Hmm.
So it can be like tools like tools that I use on business, like how to post, maybe how to build a brand, how to comment, uh, how to reach out to prospects even though you have no testimonial. Example,
Hmm.
and then industry hot takes. So I see this working very well. That if when someone is sharing their strong opinion, the strong hot take, it positions them a level higher because now we're seeing them as someone who knows what's working in the world and now they have a say about it. And it's always very interesting. It's always very controversial. It's a hot take that no one would be expecting. That works very well. Industry hot takes. And then brand breakdowns. So you see someone in the industry doing um like 10 times higher and you break down their flow, like where they started, where they are now, their revenue, what they've been doing. So it's like a breakdown of themselves, of their brand. Next one is pain points and solution. So very, very important. I share a lot of this. So um, basically just very simple. You don't have to think much about it. Just see what someone is asking and then put that as your hook. And the rehook is you saying, here's how I will solve it. And then you say it. And the next one is templates and frameworks, something that's working. That's it. Then the last one is industry's life. So this means in my industry, let's say in the digital B2B marketing industry, how was it like in the past, 5 years back? And then how is it now, the present? And then
Hmm.
how it will be in the future in the next 3 to 5 years. So all this comes under the middle of funnel Wednesday category for me. The goal is to nurture your audience. And the type of audience that we're going to target is the niche group. And what we're focusing here is very, very deep and good knowledge.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, Wednesday is sorted. Next one is Friday. Now, very interesting. This is our bottom of funnel. This is where we share more about our product or service. So, what some of the things direct offers?
Hmm.
Just share what you offer. That's one thing. Next one is testimonials, client results, things like that. And then
Hmm.
client case studies.
Hmm.
So you can just give a breakdown of where they were and how you came in, and then you turn their life the other way around for the better. Next
Hmm.
one is them versus you. So now we are comparing how what others do that I don't do and how I'm better.
Hmm.
That's one thing. Next one is new services. If you have new service or new line, new branding, new logo, new color that you launch, let's say, share it. That's a new services part. Next one is
Hmm.
client results, which I've already mentioned. Then followed by that is new features. So this works very well for SaaS products. New features. So if you, so let's say you saw your customer keep on bugging you, I want this kind of feature, and then you
Hmm.
finally made it live. To share that new feature and what led you to make that new feature.
Hmm.
Next one is newsletter plugs. So of course, lots of established business have newsletters. Put that
Hmm.
in, and that way you can nurture your audience outside of LinkedIn
Hmm.
potentially. Next one is behind the scenes. So
Hmm.
more on what you're doing in the business. It could be like a video of you in your office, or of you doing your work, or you speaking to your team members, or maybe you're going up the stage to speak, and then you just shoot behind the scenes. Here's how I dress. Here's how what I do. Here's how I prep myself. Here's what I'm going to present. Just behind the scenes. People love this. They want to
Right.
know what's happening behind. I mean, it's like I've seen it myself. Like I'm done seeing what you're showing me. Can you show me what happens behind? I want to know. Like,
Right. Sure.
yeah. And next one is client conversations. So maybe a client says something that you don't like. Maybe client says something that you like. Share it and share your perspective. Of course, we hide them. We don't want to expose them, right? For their
Hmm.
privacy matters. Next one is collated social proof. So this works for my industry. So for marketing industry, let's say so many impressions, good impression, and then you can just like bam, just paste everything in one shot in a image. That's like collated social proof. And you're like now you're bombarding your prospects that okay, look at the results, look at all these numbers that I've gotten. That's another way. So over here, the focus is to convert your audience. That's the goal.
Hmm.
And and also the main focus is to show the results and what you're doing in your business, plus what you've gotten for your clients. Yeah,
I
pretty
think
much.
I think our audience got like too many hook ideas for the
Yeah.
LinkedIn page. That's amazing, amazing. Lovely. So, since you were mentioning about case studies, so would you also like to share with us any case study, how you helped a client reach from XYZ to XYZ number, and how is it going? Any one or two case studies you would like to share with us, and what was the strategy like basically working with those clients?
Okay. So I can share one of my prominent case studies. So he's an executive from the SaaS industry. So um, he his goal was to establish himself as the thought leader, which is what I do, right? And he just want to share his journey, share his experiences, and inspire other marketers. And yeah, and for that, he didn't had the pain point was he didn't had the time to do it because he was very busy with work.
Hmm.
So what we did is we did everything that we can. We aligned his entire strategy. So first, when I work with someone, I always have like a 2 week onboarding process. So
Oh,
the first week we will handle all the profile aspects. So there is your profile picture, your banner, your headline, your about section, feature section, recommendation section, and the experience section, and literally from top to bottom, we handle that the first week. And then the second week is where we go into content and engagement.
hmm.
So that's when I will get in call with them to ask a few questions, and then they will share the experience, and then I will turn that into content, and then have them review it, and then everything goes live the third week. That's
Okay.
it. Yeah. So that's what I do. So
Hmm.
for this person, this client of mine, we did all of that. And then at the end of 90 days period, we got him 78,000 plus views,
Oh, that's great.
over 785 plus followers.
Hmm.
So he came to me with like a stagnant profile, not not much of content strategy and no real traction on posts. And again, he wanted to share his experience, and he wanted to share his influence in marketing, and also attract better conversations, but he didn't know where to start, right?
Hmm.
So so and then moving forward, we did the onboarding process, right? So in week 1 we did all about the profile. Then the week two, we did more about the content and engagement.
Hmm.
And we also defined his key three core pillars, which is B2B marketing, business growth, and leadership. And then mixed it with top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel content. And then
Hmm.
again, balance with personal insights, with expertise and everything.
Hmm.
Plus, we worked on his daily visibility. So for over 40 meaningful comments a day, and then maxing out to 100 hyper targeted connections, strategic DMs so that he can start DMing, and also posting 3 times a week. So it's not it's this works for anyone. I would say it's not like a hack or secret trick. It works for everyone. I would say. So at the end of 90 days, what's the outcome was we managed to get him 78,000 plus views. So it's literally his content was being seen almost 80,000 times, and it was huge. So
That's
next
amazing.
one, yep. Next one was he received a podcast invite. So that it was the same podcast invite which brought in guests like so a few of them were like brand strategists of the future. Uh,
Hmm.
have you heard of the future? Chris Doe's company? Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So she was a brand strategist. So she was the part of that podcast as a guest, and
Hmm.
they also had a CEO and investor who was seen in the New York Weekly 40 under 40 times. And
Hmm.
they also had ex-head of CEO, ex-head of SEO brand at Wix, plus
Hmm.
ex-head of communication at Semrush. So that was the same podcast that he was invited to, requested to. And moving forward, he started having conversations from top voices and experts, both in comments and also in private DMs. Plus, he started receiving quality connections. So people who fall into his industries as leaders, marketing leaders, B2B marketing leaders, SaaS owners, marketing professionals. And now he started speaking with the right group of people, which he always wanted to. And the next
Hmm.
one is he got inbound calls for marketing advice. So one of his goals was to help other marketers win, which with his authority and expertise shown in LinkedIn. That's how he started receiving calls for so some of the calls were for marketing, some of the calls were for um hiring related,
Hmm.
because that's their SaaS company literally based on.
Hmm.
And the best and the last part was, according to me, that his team got inspired to post because of him.
Hmm.
That was the ultimate highlight for me, because I realized that when your profile and content inspires others to show up, and then that's true leadership for him.
Right.
So which is great. So I would say if you are building a brand on LinkedIn, and when you're building a brand on LinkedIn, you need to get certain things right. You need to have a good positioning, an expert positioning. So that when someone comes across your profile, they will glance at your profile for 3 seconds and they will decide whether to connect with you or to just move on. So we
Right.
need to have the right positioning and also a converting profile.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that then makes it easier for them to get in touch with you. Plus
Right.
relatable and authority built content, connect with active and the right people, plus build relationship over comments and DMs. So again, it's not a hack. It's just that people don't do this long enough and they
Hmm.
quit too soon. And then they say, why is it not working? And it's just because you haven't stick to it for years. I'm saying 2 years. Like if you're starting out, just give yourself 1 year to see, because you will definitely see something. But if you
Right.
can't even bring yourself to stick with a year, then anything that you try out, it won't work because you can't stick to it.
Right.
So
Consistency is basically very important.
exactly. I mean, love, like, this word is always coming out, and it may be like cliche already, but that's the real deal. With the consistent flow, there's no way that you won't see like at least a result. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing case study you just shared. It just blew my mind right away. Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. So, if we talk about at present, what are your thoughts on if for anyone, or let's say for a founder, let's say, or for any expert to be, how important do you think it is for them to be on LinkedIn and have their personal brand right on LinkedIn? If we have to, wrap up the entire conversation on that note.
I would say it's never been, it's not optional anymore. It's compulsory right now for founders to build their presence, especially on LinkedIn. Because like a recent study that I saw was that 67% of people are actually willing to spend more on products and services from company whose founders have personal brands that aligns with their values.
Hmm.
So very simple. Just take a look at LinkedIn profile and then go through let's say go through a company page and then compare with their founders page.
Hmm.
We can naturally see which one has more reach. Of course, the personal profile has more reach than the company profile. Unless, let's say, you are at a level of Steve Jobs, let's say,
Hmm.
because now if they were going to make a post through their Apple LinkedIn page, the company page, then everyone knows Apple, so there's no doubt that they won't get reached there.
Hmm.
Nevertheless, still the founder's profile will get a higher reach.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone should have it. Every founder, be it you're starting out or be it you're scaling, even though you have an established business offline, you have solid customer base, you have all the numbers working, all the accounts and revenues and teams, products, you have a top-notch business out there. But if you're not showing that on online, if you're not showing that online on LinkedIn, then you're missing out on huge things. Because let's say this person has like 20 years experience running their business and it's like a super great business, and then someone just a year old getting more opportunities just because they choose to present themselves and share
Right.
their journey on LinkedIn, which isn't fair. Because now this person has 20 years of experience and realizing, why am I not getting all these opportunities? Because
Hmm.
you're not showing up on LinkedIn,
Right.
because you're not like
Right.
presenting the way that you want to, and doing up the content and connecting and engaging and just building the network on LinkedIn. That's why someone who had lower experience than you, but they're getting more opportunities, more investors, or let's say um, speaking invitations or podcast invites and things like that. So
Hmm.
at the end of the day, actually, I see this myself. I see this around me that even though a person has not achieved much, but the way that they position, it's amazing. They
Right.
position themselves as the experts, and now people are coming to them.
Hmm.
So there's no doubt that if you're a founder, or if you're not a founder, but I'm speaking about the founders, mainly like, let's say, established like 3 plus 5 years, 5 plus years in business, then you need to have a LinkedIn brand. You need to start building up. Or if, let's say, if you have no time to do that, then hire someone who can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. And if I have to ask you, if you can give our audience maybe quickly some quick tips how they can, um outshine on LinkedIn with their personal brand.
Outshine. The people who I've seen outshine on LinkedIn are the people who have stayed the longest and who have worked for the best.
Hmm.
So it's two ways. Number one is you stay for long.
Hmm.
Number two is you do all the right things that's needed on LinkedIn.
Right.
That way, anyone can outshine anyone. Yeah.
Amazing. Great. I think I learned a lot through this conversation, and I'm sure that anyone who is, looking to build their personal brand on LinkedIn will definitely learn some amazing tips from this conversation, because we discussed so much, not just about outbound, we discussed about content, we discussed about, strategies, personal branding. I would say I got a lot of hooks to create content through this conversation, right? And then
I'm looking
we
forward.
DM layout. So this was, I would say, the intense conversation we had about LinkedIn, and that's amazing. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Tahaseen, for being a part of this podcast. And we look forward to have you time and again so that we get keep updating our audience as well about LinkedIn. Great. Thank
Oh,
you so much.
awesome, Anjali. I mean, first of all, thanks to you because you asked great questions and you asked the right questions, which had me open up like different pathways that and then had me answer. So mainly thanks to you. That's it.
No, no, I think that's part of my job to ask the right questions. Thank you
I
so much.
understand. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anjali. And looking forward to it. Looking forward for this release.
So I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Tahaseen, and if you have any other questions to ask to her or from me, you can always reach out to us. You can comment, you can DM, you can reach out to me on our given email address. And if you would like to be a part of my podcast, Kahaniya by Tookwings, and I'll reiterate that you don't need a celebrity status to be a part of Kahaniya by Tookwings, because our aim is to give wings to your story, your passion, and that's what why we started Tookwings. So if you want to be a part of my podcast, reach out. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Namaste.